Hey guys and welcome, Hammeh here, and a bit of a different kind of video for you today. Now, why am I showing you a 13-year-old comic? Well, it's part of telling the story of Soldier 76 before Overwatch, before Titan, before so many things. I've discussed this semi-hidden history or unknown history of Soldier 76 the character in my first Lore Bites video, which I've linked below and in the description. I fully recommend you go and take a little look at that, perhaps before watching this. But if you want to learn more about Soldier 76's untold story, or the story that might have happened to him in an alternate universe, do watch on. So this comic, why are we looking at this? Well, in summary of the other video and in summary of the history behind this, Soldier 76's story actually goes back many years. The first sort of drawing of the original character of Soldier 76 we've seen from Chris Metzen, who used to be working in a creative capacity at Blizzard. That was dated 1998. It's been on a Sons of the Storm website where a lot of Blizzard artists and creatives used to post, and still do post, a bunch of their work. Fast forward to 2004, you have Chris Metzen and this character of Soldier 76, and he is working on a short story called Soldier 76 The Vigil, and it went into this series called Digital Webbing. Now, Digital Webbing was kind of a comic house, a comic publisher that would put together writers and put together artists and try and showcase new work and new talents and potential new series. So before Soldier 76 was any kind of thing within Titan or indeed within Overwatch, he was a character created by Chris Metzen, who's almost 20 years old, and his first appearance in a comic is in this Digital Webbing Presents. Crazy Mary is the heroine or anti-hero we have on the cover, but I'm going to show you and read you through this story. So what we're going to do in this video, we're going to read through this Soldier 76 short story, and then we're going to have just a little look at it and see what's similar with Soldier 76 way back in 2004, and perhaps what's changed in terms of how he's been told and used in Overwatch. Okay, let's get stuck in. I was a soldier once. To make a long story short, I went away for about 30 years. When I finally returned, I found my country torn apart by war. The Second American Civil War, to be precise. Terror, fear, they had eaten away at the core of America. They had turned brother against brother, state against state. This government I once served had turned against its own people. And to their credit, the people were fighting back. I had any number of reasons for taking up the people's cause. Hate and betrayal were the front runners. It's hard to believe it's only been a few weeks since the bombs first fell. Since the Battle of Los Angeles ended, and the West won its freedom. It's funny, from this vantage point, the fires look almost beautiful. I hear my target approaching from a few miles off. 1 Black Hawk gunship, 2 Dragonfly supply carriers, and a few support copters. Though we held this city and pushed the federal forces back, the fools keep trying to run weapons and supplies to their sleeper cells in the foothills. The stubborn bastards just won't give up. Once again, I'll have to remind them that this city, this country, do not belong to them anymore. My sources are convinced there's a holdout federal base hidden somewhere below the ridgeline. Up until now, they haven't been able to pinpoint its location. These choppers will lead me straight to it. Luckily, the moon's not too bright still. I'll need to stick to the shadows as best I can. Odds are, they won't be expecting a one-man show. I'd best get moving. I'd hate to miss all the fireworks. 10 minutes later, I crest the ridge and get my first good look at the base. Probably 30 to 40 standing troops, plus support personnel. They've been planning something big here. After tonight, they'll wish they'd never come back. Bypassing the electrified fences and video surveillance systems is simple enough, even for an old dinosaur like me. It's the opening salvo that always makes me nervous. If I've learned one thing over the years, it's that subtlety only buys you so much. So I hunker down between 2 old storage tanks and announce my arrival with a bang. Hawk 1, we have shots fired from the deck. Dragonfly 6 is down. Repeat, Dragonfly 6 is down. No visual on enemy force, over. Copy that, Hawk 2. Command, we need immediate ground support to cover our descent. Please advise, over. Roger that, Hawk 1. They're on their way. Chaos erupts through the compound as emergency teams rush to action. My little distraction worked like a charm. These soldiers are young, scared. That'll work to my advantage. I sneak into the hangar with little difficulty, and find a nice hiding spot for my housewarming gift. I turn to go and hear quickened breathing not 5 paces behind me. I hear the click as the safety disengages. The boy never had a chance. He yelps as I swirl and shatter his arm. His cries cut short as I finish with the neck. A soldier of 19 falls to the floor in a heap. I stare into his lifeless eyes and all I can feel is hate. Not for him, but for the faceless politicians who forced my hand. I rush back out into the cold night. Shots and wailing sirens fill the air. I can hear them calling to each other, hunting me. Luckily, the compound's full of violent toys. I don't stop firing until every last shell is spent. That's the extent of my hate, my rage. Precious seconds tick by. My hand stops shaking long enough to release the gun. I barely hear the kid pop out of the armory. "Over here, boys, I got him!" Cutting it close. I scrape round the corner as shrapnel and concrete hit my face. I can hear the rest of them clattering through the rubble, taking up all the right points to contain me. They've been trained well, all things considered. "Hold it right there, asshole. Keep your hands where I can see him. Squad 8, move in on my 6 o'clock. This son of a bitch ain't going anywhere." They've got me right where I want them. Where are the rest of them? It's only one guy. Hold it, he's got something in his hand. That's right, boy. This here's a message for your politicians back east. I pray they heed it. The fillings nearly rattle out of my teeth as the secondary charges blow the armory. Safe to assume my mission here is done. I hoof it out through the blaze and commandeer one of their new ATVs. In a matter of minutes, I'm back over the ridge to safety. I see the fires through the rear view and realise that I was wrong before. They're not beautiful. War never is. I'm tired all of a sudden. Starting to feel my age. Wish I could say I've earned a good rest, but I've got 3 more bases to find before dawn. It's going to be a long night. So there you go, there's the comic. Apologies for my slightly inept dramatic reading at points. I'll try harder on some voiceover for next time. I'm no voiceover artist, those guys are professionals for an absolute reason. So the background of this, it was set in the year 2010 or so. As I mentioned in my previous video on this, a lot of the story themes are chillingly relevant still, 13 years later. Well, what about the similarities and differences between this old Soldier 76 and the Soldier 76 we know in Overwatch today? Well, the character and some of the themes around him do kind of ring true. Soldier 76 in this comic feels betrayed by the government or state. He cites hate and betrayal as being his reasons to turn against the government. We could say that 76 is driven by discovering the truth behind the betrayal, as he perceives it, of Overwatch in the Overwatch story, certainly. Another thing, looking at the Battle of Los Angeles image here, this actually really reminded me of one we've only just seen in Uprising, of Soldier 76 looking out over the chaos of the Omnic Crisis. Another nice little detail, look at the 76 on the back of his jacket there, that visual theme stayed, as well as something in the face of the character, his hair. When you compare this old soldier with the soldier Jack Morrison that we know and love from Overwatch today, there's certainly more than a passing similarity, I'd say. Soldier 76 in this comic is of course a ridiculously competent soldier and a lone operator, very much like our 76. In the original telling of this story, Metzen had Soldier and his fellow enhanced soldiers enhanced with special microchips in their brainstems, regulating their autonomic systems. Boosts of speed, endurance, aggression and strength could result from this. It actually kind of reminds me a little bit of what we now know as Sam in Mass Effect Andromeda and how the Pathfinder and his team work with that kind of AI. Now, has to be stressed, this is probably nothing like what the reasons for the Soldier Enhancement program are in Overwatch now, but it's cool to know the history behind the character. Soldier in this comic also has hate for the politicians who he says forced his hand, as he sadly kills this soldier, but I mean, did they really? He's choosing to fight this fight. Finally, there's a big theme of the futility of war coming through, and Soldier in Overwatch does occasionally sound a little bit tired, sort of marks his age a few times in a similar way to Soldier in this comic. Well, what about the differences? A lot of people die in this comic, although we don't see it graphically or directly. Presumably the 30 or 40 troops in the base aren't getting up anytime soon. As it's a 5-page short story, of course there's not a lot of time to develop a character in huge depth. This was kind of an audition, as you will, for Soldier 76. But we do see a change in 76 across this comic that we haven't seen or don't know about when it comes to the Soldier 76 in Overwatch. 76 in the comic thought that the fires of a burning Los Angeles were beautiful. He then regrets having to kill a young soldier in the middle of the comic before at the end deciding he was wrong about beauty in war, saying that there is none. He then feels the weight of his age before snapping out of it and getting on with the fight. 76 in Overwatch, of course, is still driven on this mission of part revenge, part discovery, part trying to find out the truth, and we haven't seen any regret for his actions or any fatigue from him just yet. What's interesting, significant for me to finish up with, is that regardless of any similarities or differences with this character, born in 1998, realised in this comic of 2004, and now in a different iteration, but from shared roots, in 2017, these are the beginnings of where the dark side of the Overwatch 76 that we know came from. He's a man on a mission. He's seemingly doing whatever it takes to reveal who betrayed him and Overwatch and why. 76 in Overwatch is a man who's leaving a body count behind him too while he does so, as we've seen in the Old Soldiers comic amongst other places. He's a man with a certain anger and rage, as we saw expressed in this very telling scene in Hero. Even though it's with a pinata against one thug to maintain the age rating, the savagery and violence here is very, very visible. 76 in Overwatch, to cap off, doesn't see himself, of course, as a hero anymore when we see him talk to Alejandra in that short.
You're one of those heroes, aren't you?
Not anymore.
Now, when Chris Metzen talked about him at various BlizzCons past, you could really see his passion about him and his story and his potential redemption. For good reason, as it turns out, because 76 has been his and with him for nearly 20 years. Soldier 76 as a character has been on a long journey from 1998 to being realised as one of the protagonists of a story of one of the biggest video games around right now, and hopefully, in my book, for many years to come. Wherever Soldier 76's Overwatch story goes next, I find it so interesting to see where he's come from, and who knows where he'll go in future. I really can't wait to find out. Here's hoping for a lot more Jack Morrison stories, just like Uprising that we've seen recently, in future. There you go, bit of a different video today. Do tell me what you thought in the comments below. I really enjoyed doing this one. I realise it might be a bit niche for some people, but I love looking at the story, the inspirations and the backgrounds behind video game story, and of course particularly Overwatch. If you like this vid, do throw a like, subscribe, let me know what you thought in the comments below, and if you're new to the channel, please do check out all of my Overwatch lore, story, voice line interaction and more videos. I go in depth into skin lore, map lore, hero lore, world lore. If it's about Overwatch and story, you will find it here. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I've been Hammeh. Hopefully catch you soon. Take it easy.